Good morning, and welcome to Cliff College for the last of our live stream events for this week. This week we've had a bit of a different week. We've dubbed it as Digital Week, and we've been doing various events, both as hybrid events from the site and digital events that are completely online. My name's Matt Hartley, and I'm the Learning Innovation Manager here at Cliff College. So this week has sort of been my baby. I put it together along with my team here. This morning, we're going to have just a brief conversation with a couple of my colleagues here, just about how digital impacts us at Cliff and where we sort of sit in this landscape. So first of all, I'm just going to bring in friend and colleague Ali Johnson, who works mostly for Cliff, but also in part for the Methodist Church as a digital evangelist. So digital is very much a big part of Ali's life. Morning, Ali.
Morning, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Ali would be here. It's quite appropriate that he's here
very wet.
Digitally.
It's
because,
very wet.
The rain has sort of stopped play in terms of getting Ali to site. So actually quite appropriate that Ali is digitally here rather than in person. Very
good. It's like we planned it, but we didn't, so that's fine, but don't tell anyone that.
Yeah, we'll keep that between us. So Ali, just do you want to run down what your roles are in terms of digital and how important that is in terms of your working life and things?
Yeah, absolutely. So for Cliff, to take the non-digital stuff off dead quickly. So for Cliff, I oversee our placement opportunities and partnerships. So students on a degree have to do placement as part of the degree, and I oversee that. So that's my role internally. Also, within the Methodist Church, I'm what they call a digital evangelist. So there is a comms team and within the comms team, there's a digital team within the Methodist Church. My role is external to that team and really to think about how we navigate and use the opportunities, the potential of digital to really engage with people that yet don't have a faith. So it's moving from kind of internal digital comms into kind of tools and exploratory ideas and things like that. So I do that, and then external to that, I'm also on a board for All We Can, which is a development charity, and Y-Care, which is the YMCA's development charity, and I'm a digital lead there. And then kind of extra to that, I also, alongside some other wonderful individuals, run a website called Christianity.org.uk, which gets around 800,000 visits a year, and is a kind of digital inquiry agency, so you can go on there and ask questions of faith. And then also have a little side business as a graphic designer. So digital is kind of inherently part of my very being.
Wow. So yeah, just a little bit then. Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. Just a few bits. Yeah.
And obviously the Methodist Church, as sort of stakeholders in terms of what we do at Cliff College, have obviously recognised the importance of digital, both in terms of your role and the whole team at connection level. But they've also invested into us at Cliff College. So our ability to do things like this is because they've invested time and money into us, and they've invested us in terms of resources. So we've already mentioned this morning in conversation with Andrew the CliffX and the TheologyX learning platform that was funded out of a Methodist Church sort of investment, and they were also behind investing in terms of our studio and making sure that we can also resource ourselves in terms of people. So in the innovation team, there's a group of us, and that is absolutely a big part of where we sit in the college and delivery for that. So one of those team that we've definitely invested into is Luke Middleton, who is our media content producer.
That's the one, yeah.
Yes, got the job right.
Very good.
So Luke, tell me a bit about what you do at Cliff College.
So at Cliff College, I am the media content producer, as Matt says, which I often say to people is a fancy way of saying I make videos and take photographs and that kind of thing. So I've been working at Cliff since the end of 2021, so just at that end of the pandemic kind of thing as lockdown was being lifted. But what I do is basically facilitate our lectures and our online learning to be able to happen in a visual medium. So we have, obviously mentioned earlier on, we have CliffX and our learning platform. So I film lecturers delivering their content, their learning for the students, and edit that together. Our MMD program, which is our Mission and Ministry Development Program, essentially our continuing professional development program. I have a big hand in that, so we film lecturers doing kind of short videos, and then I add text and graphics onto the screen to make it more of a kind of a broader learning experience. And as well as all of that kind of learning content, I also do promotional videos for the college, all sorts of other events that we run. So whether it be Christmas, festival, there's always a video that is needed to go up on a screen somewhere to visualize something or in some way, or whether it's our trek and we pulling together a summary video of that. So anything in between, basically, that Cliff is doing and needs some visual content.
Cool. I probably should say that I'm responsible for giving Luke a lot of that workload and adding to his job list on a fairly daily basis. Digital Week wouldn't have happened without Luke and the content that we've produced, whether that is the trailers and the introduction things, whether that is resources and things that we've put out through the week, and some of which I'll touch on those later. So Luke has been sort of crucial in doing that. It's interesting because for me, I think about video editing and I think about all sorts of sort of flashy videos and stuff, but actually it's a lot more of the online learning and fleshing that out and making videos more accessible to people, which I think is brilliant. Is there anything? Have you got any highlights from this week, Luke?
Last night is probably a memorable highlight for many of us in the innovation team. We had the Big Cliff Game Show, which was an amalgamation of all sorts of how could we fit technology into a game show, make it fun and make it accessible to people on Zoom. So that was very fun to kind of see pulled together and see come to fruition. But also just kind of pulling together the rest of the content for the week. So we've had obviously we had some live stream events, but we've also had some content which has been pre-recorded and we've then put out there. So for example, like the prayer walk and the life hacks video and the evening prayers in particular, where we've done the fire pit outside, has been quite fun as well.
Yeah, fab, thank you. So as I said, we'll see a bit more of Luke's content a little bit later on this morning. I'm just going to cut back to Ali and mention at the Methodist Church, they recently had their Exploring Digital Day. So Ali, can you tell us a little bit about that and if you had any sort of takeaways from that?
Yeah, so we did our Exploring Digital a couple of weekends ago, 3 weekends ago now, and it was an amazing day, really. Firstly, to see the appetite for digital. I think obviously the pandemic, the rise in questions about digital went through the roof, and it's been interesting to see where that levels off in relation to the work that we all are involved with, Luke, myself and you and the rest of the team. But so we had about 300 people-ish on a day, maybe between 250 and 300 people on a day. And Yeah, some of my highlights were, I think, seeing we had three talks, and one was from James Poulter about AI, one was from KT about accessibility, and the third one was from another lady about going from it being a notice board to being a building community, which I'm obviously really big about. But I think two things were highlights. The first is the kind of question of like the future and people really grappling with not where digital's at now, but where digital will go to. And I think that was a real highlight to begin that conversation, and that kind of has been going on since on X and whatnot. And then, but I think what really kind of opened my eyes to how far we've still got to go, either as a college or as a church, was when Katie was talking about accessibility and inclusivity. And I think that was a really interesting question for me about when we do digital and we kind of open this door to this new world, is how can we continue to make ourselves the most available and make this the best experience for those that are watching. I think like the journey that all of us are on is trying to make digital not only a kind of thing we engage with, but also part of our life. And how do we build that into our learning, into our classrooms, into the videos that Luke makes and the stuff that you do. And therefore the stuff that we build alongside that, how can we really build in those key kind of traits of learning into all the stuff we're delivering? I think that was my highlight.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. Yeah, and it is interesting that we've now moved so quickly to a place where digital is part of our lives. So it's no longer a thing where we just go and digital. It is with digital, and it's just sort of symbiotic and just linked in there. One of the things that I think has struck me is my time through here at working here at Cliff is it has been exactly that. It's we had a student, Ali, this morning talking about his experience and just how it's become, well, hopefully seamless, and his experience in the classroom has been the hybrid nature has just become a lot more of working together. Like the people online and the people in the classroom are in a classroom together, a digital classroom. So that's brilliant just to see, and it definitely struck me as we sort of moved through the COVID times and where everyone was reliant on digital, that now it's now we have moved beyond, but actually technology has helped us to move forward, and it's easy to be fearful sometimes of technology, but actually utilised well, it is there as a tool, and it is there to help, not to hinder. So, and that I think has been my my goal through this week has been absolutely to show how we can resource and inspire, and yes, we might have the budget to invest in a few nice shiny toys, but actually some of the things that we did this week were really simple. The evening prayers you could have done on a shoestring budget with a camera phone, and that is the sort of thing that actually we can draw together, and we can build community together, and we can just do stuff, and it doesn't have to be overly complicated.
Yeah, and I wonder if the biggest question for me, and it's something we kind of talk about Cliff more generally, is like getting to that stage where the question is like, it's not how we bring digital in, but how we bring them together. And I think that's that hybrid nature, particularly where we're at. But I think it's also a really big question for the churches. There's kind of three areas, I think, going on with the rest of the church. And one is like totally digital communities and people and things and projects. And I think that's one area. And then the second is like people who are really supportive of, but like digital for them will not necessarily be a solution to any of the problems they're having. And there's a recognition that some like social justice is a really big next step for us as a church to take around the digital poor and people who can't afford Wi-Fi and all that kind of things going on. I think that's another group. And then in the group in the middle, which is where Cliff sits, is like, how do we bring everyone parity? Like, how do we build on everyone's experiences and bring them together? And I think that's something, I don't know if Luke's still there, but that's something I guess we all battle with as a team, is like the parity between digital and non-digital is a real like continual battle for us to work through.
Yeah, definitely, and that is, I think, something that I think that we want to sort of achieve as a long-term goal as a college, and the movement from the top down needs to be, I think, that sense of parity, and it's not us and them, but it is collectively us all together. Yeah, brilliant. I'm just going to move on and talk now about. So I just mentioned, the point of this week was in part to inspire and maybe resource. And it's also been to show some of the things that we do on a weekly basis, but sort of brought all together into a more condensed form. Some of it was to highlight some of the things that we do throughout the year. We quite often do hybrid seminars and various other things, but this week we were fortunate enough to do a couple of those. And we have also created resources and various other things. Again, I'll touch on those in a second. I do just want to mention again, like Luke mentioned, the game show last night was borderline anarchy, but brilliant for it. And it was all done on Zoom. And yeah, again, we were based here in the college in terms of using our kit, but actually we were doing it on Zoom, which is a platform that anyone can get to, and we were using mobile phones running around the building. So we're talking about these devices that actually a lot of people have got, and this is the sort of thing that you can just stretch out your sort of online wings, as it were, and just fly with if you're not afraid of it. So yeah, and in terms of some of the resources we've created this week, and Luke particularly has been key to putting together, we've later this afternoon we'll be launching a behind the scenes video, and that was I think quite important, because we recognise that there's a lot of work that's put into these events, but actually it's a team, but it's also just showing a little bit of what we did behind the scenes, and even something as simple as communion. Cutting away and making communion feel accessible by people joining online, but not intrusive. And I think that's something that a lot of churches will wrestle with, that there is the feeling of digital gets in the way, and it shouldn't get in the way, but it should allow people to feel connected. So that'll be a video that we will show in full later. That'll be online on our online platforms, particularly on YouTube. But if we can I'm just trying to get the attention of Dan at the back. So if we can if we can just show that there's a snippet, a taster, if you will, of the behind the scenes video. Yeah, so that was absolutely a very short taster. There will be a lot more content, both video, and we'll talk you through some of the things that we've actually done as well behind that video, which again, hopefully is there to sort of resource and inspire, not just to go, we can't do this. Actually, I'm a passionate believer in anyone can achieve. It's it's not being scared, and it's knowing a few tricks a lot of the time. One of the other
those gold jackets, Matt. Those gold jackets, are we talking about those?
We can talk about those if you like. Every digital event should also be well costumed.
Very good. I'll take that on board. That's a lesson for me to learn today.
Yeah, I'm taking that to senior management at college later.
Very good.
We've also put out resources. So we've done not just morning prayers, which is something we normally do as part of our community practice. We've also done a week's worth of evening prayers, which were really nice, a really different feel. Some were outside, some were inside. I'm quite glad that I'm not outside at the moment in the weather that we're currently feeling. We'll see how it is later. But also, we've also created resources like a digital prayer walk. So we recognise that some people can come to the Cliff, and we're fortunate to sort of inhabit this beautiful space around the college. But actually, some people can't get here, whether that's because you live in Uganda, or whether that's because you're in a wheelchair and actually we have hills and things. So we're now trying to resource into the wider online community and actually create prayer walks and resources that can take you through a little bit of the journey, hopefully inspire you, and maybe give you a taste of where we inhabit also, but just allow you to just have a bit more of an online spiritual experience as well. And it's not just about learning here at Cliff. Dan, so if we can play that prayer walk, this is a much longer video that's available on YouTube, but this is just a short taster, and you might see a little bit of the wildlife that we see around the college as well.
Lord, you call me to follow and serve you. and provide life-giving water, spirit and strength. As I consider the path my life follows, help me to recognise your shaping and creating within me. Giving thanks and offering praise for the plan you have for me, enable me to identify your Spirit's guiding flow through times of calm and times of busyness, times of joy and times of trial. Lord, as you continue to shape me, may I know the comfort of your love, the ways of Jesus, and the energy of your Spirit. Amen.
Fab. So that was a nice short excerpt from the first of hopefully a series of digital prayer walks that we're going to be putting out as resourcing again the wider community and as I said before, a more spiritual aspect of online delivery. Looking forward, Ali. So we have hopefully we are going to connect with the Methodist Church a little bit more in the space together. So we're looking forward to doing another digital week in April, and that will hopefully be in partnership with a few more from the digital team at the Methodist Church. So look out for, we haven't confirmed exactly, but we're looking to do that in the end of April, April 24, so not long to wait. And again, that will be a combination of hybrid events from here. Maybe we'll have a few more out external speakers, but look out for announcements about that. Do you want to say anything more about that, Ali? I haven't really got anything to ask you.
No, just to say, I think like putting my Methodist Church out, I think stay tuned for more, like there's more exploring digital content coming and more kind of training and resourcing around digital is underway. And I think at Cliff, we are doing that in partnership together. Luke produced the films for our Getting Started Online course, which you can go and check out on the Methodist Church's YouTube page or whatever. So I think, just to say there are ongoing kind of modes of support and learning together as far as digital is concerned incoming, so stay tuned.
Fab. Yeah, and from my part here at Cliff, we absolutely want to be resourcing people. So if you're watching this now, if you're watching it in a month's time or whenever, if you've got any questions about how we've done things or how we are looking to explore digital better and actually doing more of that sort of work towards digital parity, then absolutely get in touch with one of us here at college, and we'd love to talk to you more about that. But for now, thank you very much. I'm going to leave you just with a couple of reminders. We've got the taster video that we've had for the MMD unit Growing in Leadership that Ash is leading along with a load of leaders from around the country. That is a taster unit that if you sign up any time between now and the end of October is the very first video is free to sort of get the experience, and then please, if that takes your fancy, then sign up to do the whole course. Next Tuesday, we've got a digital open day. So if anything has piqued your interest, either off the back of this week or just in general, then details are on the website for that. Sign up and come and experience, ask questions by all means about how to be more of a student at Cliff College, whether that is in person or online. And this afternoon we'll put out the full behind the scenes video of some of the things we've done, and then join us this evening for evening prayers, the last one this evening at 8 o'clock. Other than that, thanks for joining us and see you soon.